This acai bowl truck too.
Well, welcome to Raleigh Veg Fest. It is the third time I think we've been here, right, Denise?
Yes.
And welcome from our nonprofit, which is called a plantbaseddiet.org. What makes this event different from everybody else's is that it's totally plant-based. There are no animal products at this event. We believe this is going to be the future. It is the future. And we know nobody grew up with this information, but that's why we're here as an organization, educational, trying to let you guys know the benefits of plant-based, which is for people, animals, and our planet. You may see that slogan go across the screen over here. That's our slogan for our nonprofit, for people, animals, and our planet. So we have a nice talk. My beautiful wife, Denise, is going to get everything set up for that in a second. Actually, let me get the screen changed, and you can give a few more words of introduction while I get the screen up.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for coming out here today. Our event is totally plant-based. It's also a free admission to the public. And I'm thankful that everybody was able to make it today despite the chilly weather and the fear of all the traffic that would be downtown due to Dreamfest. But I'm not seeing too much traffic.
Yeah, so the weather is awesome, just like Denise said. The winds have calmed down. It's a little chilly, but it's going to get up to almost 70 degrees today. So it's going to be a fantastic day. Plus, everybody that's taking the bus to Dreamville is going by here on the south side of Moore Square. So we're going to get all those folks in here, which is great for us because we want to let everybody know about the plant-based lifestyle. Even if you've heard of it before, maybe you're still skeptical, and that's why we're here, to kind of allay those fears or answer any questions you have about plant-based and why it is better. There's no question, it's better. So we're going to get right into our talk. Denise has got the slide advancer, and we will get going.
Yeah, so this is my husband, Mike Young. He's the president of a plantbaseddiet.org. He started this nonprofit back in 2014 because there were hardly any vegans that he knew of in this area.
Yeah, that was 9 years ago. And we started the vegantriangle.org group then, and I think now it's got like, I don't know, close between 3,000 and 4,000 members on there. And we've even got a group that's focused on health optimization too. And the purpose of the nonprofit was to join people together because I didn't know anybody, no friends, no family that was plant-based. That was 9 years ago. I think everybody knows people that are plant-based now, at least part-time.
Yeah.
But still, it's hard to find people that are doing this all the time, that made a total lifestyle about it. And Denise and I have, we're in our 50s. I'm 53, she's 52. So we also hopefully will give you a new idea of aging. It's aging, getting older doesn't necessarily mean getting decrepit or getting ill or getting sick or getting full of disease. And the reason why it doesn't mean that necessarily is if you're going plant-based and doing it right. So that's what we're here to talk about.
Yes. So I started my nonprofit leadership work as the president of my condo association. And when I met Mike in 2017, I didn't even know what vegan was, but he told me all the things that I was doing wrong and eating wrong. And he told me why.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, he told me I could avoid diabetes and I wouldn't have to suffer like my grandmother did and my aunt. I was very sad to lose them.
Yeah, that's obvious, right? But we also talked about, when I first met you, your acid reflux or GERD, and that was more complicated. That took some time, but eventually you completely controlled that, I'd say, right? I mean,
Yeah.
You know what's causing it now, you just don't do it.
Yeah, I used to take medication for acid reflux. It's not good to take this long term, like over 5 years, and I had already been on it for at least 10 years before I met Mike. I had surgery too, and I was able to go without medication for about a year, but then the reflux just came right back.
So the acid reflux surgery didn't work. It didn't address the root cause. It was just managing symptoms. And it took us a while to figure out what was actually causing the GERD. And by the way, it's not just for you. You're not like unique and special like you. I mean, most people have triggers. Most people have issues that their body just starts to react in a bad way, and almost all of it surrounds food. So it's a matter of figuring that out.
Yeah, I thought it was just coffee, but even after I eliminated coffee, I still had some reflux. It wasn't until we went to a fruit festival, and on day 3 of this all fruitarian retreat, my reflux had totally gone away. So I don't take any medication at all for it anymore, and I hope nobody has to.
Yep.
So I read the China study at Mike's request, and it all started to make sense about the protein cancer connection. So I wanted to help help people understand these risks and avoid getting diabetes and cancer too. So I joined the board with Mike.
Yeah, and it's the whole thing is kind of complicated, but the short version is eat exclusively plants, eat mostly whole plants. The more you move away from whole plants into the processed foods, the more that's going to hurt you. So eat mostly whole plants.
Yes. So since I went plant-based, I lost 20 pounds. Mike and I were able to run competitive 5Ks together and actually win in our age groups. And I weigh the same as I did in the 8th grade. So I feel really good, and I want to teach people how they can feel better as well. So our slogan is for people, animal, and our planet. The people part is more about health. I'm sure you've heard there's growing evidence that plant-based diets are associated with lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol, stabilized blood sugar, and lower body weight.
Basically everything beneficial. Yeah. So erasing your health problems, that's what they're associated with.
Pretty much. It even helps arthritis. Arthritis is inflammation, and animal products cause inflammation. So naturally, if you get rid of those, your arthritis is not going to flare up.
Yeah, that may be news to people, that arthritis is reversible, just because of mainly eating animal protein and dairy, I'd say.
Yeah. So plant-based diets are lower in saturated fat and higher in fiber, vitamins, and minerals. So here are some books that we recommend. The China Study, How Not to Die and How Not to Diet by Dr. Michael Greger. There's also Neil Barnard's program for reversing diabetes. And you can also read Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn.
And I've got a book too, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit later on in this talk. It's called Live to 150, and it's free.
Yeah. So we're not doctors, but we can tell you what to eat and what to avoid and how to feel better. And here, if you want to listen to the doctors, here are their videos. They'll explain why you want to avoid oil. This is Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn's talk.
This is what Denise is talking about. You can see on the top of the slide. Go to healthyveganfood.info, healthyveganfood.info. Dr. Esselstyn talks about basically how to become heart attack and stroke proof, meaning you will not be able to get a heart attack, you will not be able to get a stroke, and he explains the entire thing in a two-part video series that we have here at healthyveganfood.info. To scroll down, each one's a little over an hour, and he will provide all the scientific evidence, and I will tell you he's 100% correct. And the short version of this is that you need to get your cholesterol number, your total cholesterol, below 150, and that is possible because I think 116 is what I am right now. It's totally possible. You just need to know how to do it. And Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn explains it at healthyveganfood.info.
So we know that oil is a bad form of nutrition, and we know that there's oil here in the food here. We're not saying you can never eat oil, but you want to limit that. You don't want to eat it on a regular basis. I'm going to have some fried food here, and my cholesterol is still below 150.
Yes, you should be able to have a treat. Absolutely. Okay. We're talking, if you want to optimize your health, you can still have a treat. You still want to have those days where you can just go indulge.
Yes, today's going to be an indulgence day. So, speaking of diet, Alzheimer's can be avoided or at least made so that it's not getting worse by changing your diet. In fact, lifestyle is the only way for reducing dementia risk.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn at healthyveganfood.info, the two videos we just talked about, he talks about preventing and reversing heart disease. That also is a factor in type 2 diabetes, okay? Eating a diet basically that's high in a percentage of calories from fat will cause type 2 diabetes and heart disease. This Alzheimer's disease and dementia is the big issue now that people are talking about as people are getting older. The population is aging because we're decrepit 53-year-olds and 52-year-olds over here, okay? You don't have to age badly, and this is what we're discovering. Believe it or not, you may not have heard this in the mainstream media, but this is in Scientific American, that this article that Denise put out here for you all to see. It's basically saying that Alzheimer's and dementia is kind of like type 3 diabetes. If type 2 diabetes is under your control, and type 2 diabetes can be reversed by lowering the percentage of calories from fat in your diet, then imagine what it could do to your brain. Because the blood flows in your brain in small areas, it's the same idea. You are cleaning up the blood flow passages in the brain, and that will potentially prevent, halt, and even reverse Alzheimer's and dementia, all based on the food that you are eating. You may have never heard that, but this is absolutely where things are going into the future, and it is, in my opinion, correct.
Yeah, so there are other risks for Alzheimer's. I mean, there is a genetic risk, but the lifestyle factors are the only ones that you can control, and that's the best way for avoiding Alzheimer's and dementia.
And remember, the genetic thing is more like, well, my family, it runs in my family. Well, of course it does, because they're the ones who taught you all your habits that you know.
Your recipes.
Yeah, they taught everything. And if most of this is the food, then of course it's kind of, well, I wouldn't call it genetic. I'd call it more habit and lifestyle. That's kind of how we talk about it.
Right. Yeah, there's still an exercise component to this, and they did studies on nuns, and they found that there's a social aspect to it too. So if you're around other humans
Absolutely.
talking and stuff, you're less likely to get Alzheimer's. And instead of watching TV, they play games, things that keep your mind active.
You need community, right? You need fun. You need to have a good time with people. And when you do that, everything's better, right? I mean, when you laugh, everything's better. Laughter is the best medicine. So that's kind of what this is talking about. The blue zones kind of talk about that, if you've heard of the blue zones. And we're going to talk in this presentation here a little bit later, within the hour, about some new communities that we're involved with that I believe are the new blue zones. They're like the blue zones on plant-based food, or I don't want to say steroids, because steroids makes it sound like you take pharmaceuticals. Anyway, okay, go ahead. We'll keep going.
But yeah, back to Alzheimer's and dementia. I don't know about you, but after I eat something high in saturated fat, like French fries, I feel slow physically and mentally. So if the diet is
it's kind of like putting glue into your veins. That's how I describe it. That's how I feel. And people, you know the idea that the food coma. Oh, I just ate this, I'm going to do a food coma. Well, that's probably because it was a very high percentage of calories from fat. And yeah, that's having a almost immediate negative impact on your health.
So the second component of our slogan is for animals, and I'll borrow this phrase from PETA: there is no humane way to kill an animal that doesn't want to die. So meat is not essential to the human diet. Protein deficiencies are uncommon in America, even among vegetarians. And the only vitamin that you actually need to supplement, and even the non-vegans need to supplement this too, is B12, because it comes from a bacteria in the soil. The animals eat it, and then if you eat animals, you'll get a little B12 too.
We take B12. The hardest part with B12 is remembering to take it, because if we don't take anything else.
Yeah, so yeah, if you don't get enough B12, that can cause brain damage. But even non-vegans, like I said, aren't getting enough because the ground is so sterile from the pesticides, it kills that bacteria. And so even the cows are being injected with B12 so that non-vegans get their B12 too. So this was found in Discover magazine in December 2020. So the third part of our slogan is for the planet. And you can see this image in the upper right is the Amazon rainforest. It's constantly being chopped down to create cattle grazing land and land to plant corn and alfalfa to feed the cattle. So we just eliminate the middleman, don't eat meat, and then you don't have to have any of the suffering occurring with the environment and with the animals.
Yeah, animal agriculture is very, very inefficient. That's the problem, okay? When you have a lack of resources, which so many people do, you don't want to go with a very inefficient process. You want to go with the most efficient possible.
Right. The animal agriculture, also with the spraying of the chemicals on the crops, those chemicals wash out into our rivers and lakes and streams, and they eventually wash out into the ocean. And that's why we have the biggest dead zone on the whole planet out in the Gulf of Mexico, because all of that water full of chemicals rushes down from the Mississippi out into the Gulf of Mexico.
Ew.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. And in Florida, I'm sure you've heard about the red tide. That's happening because of all of the farmland wastewater rushing out into the ocean. It's being diverted out into the
we don't have that issue up here so much in North Carolina, although some areas on the coast I think are still similar. It's just that we don't notice it as much as people in Florida do, but that's a direct correlation there between animal agriculture and non-organic methods of farming and landscaping.
Yes. So this is this food certification program that Mike developed along with a physician, and I'll let him explain it.
All right. Well, we are very, very happy for everybody going plant-based and vegan and trying out all the food that we have. However, there are different levels to this. And like Denise and I are getting old now, like we discussed. I'm 53, she's 52. And we really need to watch out for things because most people who are over 50 are on some form of maintenance medication. They have some type of a chronic disease, and usually they don't even get off this medication. But what if I told you by changing your food, you could potentially reverse any of the health conditions you have that are disease related? It's true. I'm not a physician, I'm not a doctor, I'm a lifestyle nutritionist, and I talk about the food, and that's why we developed this healthy vegan food certification. We would love to see everybody offer this type of food. So if you know any food entities, restaurants, etc., have them go to healthyveganfood.info. That's our website, and that describes what is required for something to meet the certification.
I thought those acai berry bowls would meet it, but we didn't
Probably
discuss it with them. But here are the requirements for it.
All right, here they are. Like Denise said, if you want to see it for yourself, just take your browser over to healthyveganfood.info. What does it mean? Well, first of all, it has to have whole plant fiber. Denise mentioned fiber earlier in this talk. The reality is, according to a Harvard University study that was published just recently, 95% of humans do not get enough fiber on a daily basis. 95%. I guarantee you this has major implications that are severely negative to the average person's health. If you wonder why everybody seems to not be doing well these days, it's because so many of the foods out there completely lack fiber. And I'm not talking about taking a fiber pill. I'm talking about the actual fiber that's in the plant that's grown. So first thing is it has to have actual plant fiber. Second thing is zero animal products. Well, we're a vegan event. We're a plant-based organization. So of course, no animal products. And usually, by the way, Denise, we've talked about this before, animal products are typically extremely high as a percentage of calories from fat, right?
Yeah.
So even if there's some benefits, that just right there is going to far outweigh the benefit of having any animal products. So there's two things actually. Both of these two things describe animal products. Number one, you shouldn't have any because they're an extremely high percentage of calories from fat. Number two, how much fiber is in animal products? Zero. Did you hear that? There's no fiber in animal products, and 95% of humans don't get enough fiber. So what does that mean? Don't eat animal products and eat as many plants as possible. Whole plants with all the fiber in it. Number three, it has to have no added oil, zero added oil. As we discussed, Dr. Colwell Esselstyn lays out the scientific case for why you would not want to have any oil. And if you're trying to optimize your health, that's absolutely required because how much fiber is in oil?
Zero.
Yeah, it's a highly processed food. All that fiber is gone. Almost all the nutrition is gone too. That's not a good thing. Number four, zero added salt and sodium. Guess what? All plants already have sodium in them. Did you know that?
Yeah.
However, they don't have as much as the average human is used to because the average human gets way too much salt. The right amount's in the plants and the right form is in the plants because the form of sodium that's in the plant is actually readily available for use by your body for your benefit. The kind of salt that you add to food is not the same. It's actually a form of, it either is a form of or it is crushed rocks. Okay, it's not a plant. Think about that for a moment. That's why you want to eat the sodium that's in the plant. You don't want to add crushed rocks to your food. And even if you get it from sea foam or whatever, that form, it's still a more processed version of crushed rocks. It does very, very bad things to the inside of your body. And that's why we say none. The other thing is zero alcohol. All right, this is a big one, I know. Guess what? Alcohol is a group 1 carcinogen. That means there is no question that it causes cancer in humans. There is no question at all. Go look it up online if you don't believe me. The only question is how much do you need to take before you develop some form of unknown cancer that you have no idea how you got.
There's no amount of alcohol that's safe, so we recommend not adding it to your food.
Yeah, the last thing I want to ever tell somebody is here, take this and eat this. I know it causes cancer. So don't have any of that. There's none of that in the healthy vegan food. And the last one is zero refined.
Wait a second. Boozy Bakes is over there. I'm sure
Unfortunately, they don't have a healthy vegan food. That's what we're talking about. Healthy vegan food.
It's okay. We have drinks at weddings, and we don't pass out and die immediately. We're just saying don't make alcohol a regular added ingredient to your food.
Yes, and part two of that is we will never consider that a healthy thing. That's the takeaway, okay?
Yes.
If you're trying to optimize your health, you have to be more specific. Last thing is refined sugar. When we talk about refined sugar, we're not talking about dates. You can use those. We're not talking about agave. You can use that. We're not talking about maple syrup. You can use that. That stuff is all pretty natural. The refined sugar is the kind that you're probably used to eating most of the time. It's probably in almost everything that you eat. It's the white crystals. It's white because how much fiber is in there?
None.
Yeah, they take all the fiber out. They take almost all the nutrition out. So again, you're getting hit from multiple directions when you're having refined sugar. So these are the things that make it up. And there's plenty to eat, believe it or not. It's just that most humans don't understand this way of eating.
Yeah.
Most humans do understand being sick all the time. And believe me, there's a direct correlation between not understanding this form of eating and being sick all the time. We don't want you to be sick ever because that is not fun. I want you guys to have a great time, have fun. And the best way to do it is to have optimal health. You probably heard like health is the real wealth, because it truly is. Because without your health, nothing else matters.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people who are sick will say that's the one thing they regret is not taking better care of their health. It's tough to get back. So if you go to our website and you're not sure where to start on a plant-based diet, if you like to cook, there are healthy recipes right on our website. And just follow this drop down, plant-based diet, healthy recipes. It's under.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff on our website at plantbaseddiet.org, and just navigate over there to, you see a plantbaseddiet.org drop down recipes and delivery, and then there's healthy prepared food, there's healthy recipes.
There we go, recipes and delivery.
Yes.
So under the delivery, you can find healthy prepared food that you can just have shipped to your house, like from Mama Says or Plant Pure. Yeah, yep. And under healthy recipes, you can find our healthy vegan mac and cheese recipe.
Oh yeah, Denise really likes mac and cheese. We don't want you to give up everything if you're trying to optimize your health. Like you said, we want you to have some indulgences, like you can have, just about any time that you've done a really good job for an extended period of time, you need to have one. And we want you to have some foods that you think maybe it's not possible. How in the world are you going to make a macaroni cheese it's really going to be health optimizing? Well, it's on our website. Just go take a look.
Yeah. Stuffy Man's over there has mac and cheese. I don't think it's
I
our
think Denise
recipe,
is going to
though.
be eating it before we leave here today. Because today is a cheat day.
Yeah, it is. So our mac and cheese recipe is made with soy milk, so it's low fat, no added oil. It has all kinds of spices instead of salt, and we usually eat the whole thing. We put a whole pound of pasta in there, and
it's all gone.
Yeah, we use a whole blender full of our homemade cheese, and we gobble it.
We may not look like it, or especially me, but I am a big eater. I'm probably the biggest eater you've ever met. It's just that most of the food that I eat is so high in fiber and water content, it just, fiber is not digestible. The water, it's water. Okay, yeah. But all the nutrition's there too, and it's really tasty, and I love eating.
It doesn't show.
I feel like I love eating. I can't wait to eat more. I can't wait to eat again.
We've tried all this Plant Pure stuff, by the way. I have it shipped to my mom too, and it's delicious. So when you go plant-based, people always ask, and I think now it's just in jest, where do you get your protein? Well, all plants have protein. Animals don't make their own. They get it from the plants. So we just go straight to the plants. And if you're eating enough calories, you're getting enough protein just from plants. And just to compare species, breast milk has half as much protein as cow's milk. And it was designed that way by nature. If we needed more protein.
For humans, right?
Yeah. If humans needed more, it would be there.
So let me get this straight. The milk that human mothers make is not the same as the milk that cows make, yet some humans still consume cow's milk. Why?
It doesn't make any sense.
What I want to know is who's the person who decided years ago that we're going to start drinking milk of another species? Who decided that? Like, what took place to where that chain of events got put into motion, and then we're all, not all of us, many of us are stuck in that to this day. I don't understand.
I don't know. I think it was the dairy cow that was bred into existence just to allow humans to drink that milk because they couldn't make their own, I'm guessing.
Maybe they didn't know it was different. Yeah. They must have known. Cows don't look the same as humans.
So in 8 ounces of human breast milk, you'll find 2.5 grams of protein. In cow's milk, you'll find 7.9. It's almost 3 times as much. So it's all too much protein, and it's the wrong kind.
And according to Dr. T. Colin Campbell of the China study, the book you mentioned earlier, what is known about animal protein when humans eat it? What happens?
Causes cancer.
It causes cancer. And I know he says that in his book, and that's not really listed on any of the dairy products I see. I don't understand why. It would make sense that it's not going to, the milk from another species is not going to do right in a human body. It would make sense.
Yeah, if you look at the charts on the incidences of breast cancer and prostate cancer in humans, the more dairy milk they consume, the higher the risk for cancer. You can draw a correlation.
And osteoporosis too, right?
Yeah.
I didn't understand. I couldn't understand. Like when I'm 53. Okay, so I was growing up in the 70s and 80s. And I heard that in the 90s. I'm like, all I remember is milk does a body good, the real seal, all that other marketing propaganda. I really, for years and years, I didn't believe that was true. I'm like, how in the world could all that marketing be wrong? You basically say that these people have been lying to us for years?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, milk actually leaches calcium from your bones because we're not supposed to be consuming it, and it will actually give you osteoporosis. You can watch it in What the Health. It'll explain it all. So the real question is not where do you get your protein, it's where do you get your fiber? That's what's missing from most people's diets. So you need 25 to 30 grams a day. And the American Heart Association suggests this, and most Americans only get about 15 grams a day.
That's really bad. So it's not even close. It's less than half. And let me tell you what I know about fiber. Number one, it optimizes your gut health, and your gut controls basically your entire digestive system. If you have anything going wrong with your digestive system, it's probably related to not getting enough fiber. The other thing I know is that, like we discussed, in the gut microbiome, that's really coming into the news nowadays. You're hearing about the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome controls the whole body. The gut microbiome controls the brain and your moods. Well, how do you optimize the gut microbiome? And what causes the gut microbiome to start to get wacky? It's not getting enough fiber, okay? If you want to optimize your gut microbiome, you got to eat enough fiber, and if you're eating too little, it's going to get wacky on you, and it's going to mess your brain up. That's just the reality. I mean, this is all newer information. This was never told to me when I was growing up.
Yeah, when I read Dr. Michael Greger's How Not to Diet, because I don't like dieting either. I counted calories for decades, and all Dr. Greger recommended in just about every chapter was getting enough fiber. It's extremely important.
Let me reiterate. According to the most recent Harvard study, 95% of humans do not get enough fiber on a daily basis. And fiber is really the pillar, the key to your health.
Yeah.
So if you're not healthy, eat more whole plants. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's not hard. You don't need to take Metamucil. That doesn't work anyway.
No, that's not an equivalent. It's just like adding salt to your food. No, you want to eat the sodium that's in the plants. You want to eat the fiber that's in the plants. Metamucil is not even close to the same thing.
Yeah, Metamucil has 0 benefits. Just eat plants. It's that easy. So people have asked us in the past what we eat because they're not sure how to go plant-based. They don't even know where to begin. So I documented our food intake for about 4 days just to show you that we're eating plenty of variety of fruits and vegetables, and we still get our treats. Like we ate this whole bag of crinkle cut fries one night because these have no added salt or oil. And
potatoes are a great source of iodine.
Yeah, and we cook them in the air fryer so they're not dipped in oil. And we cook them at 345 degrees so that no acrylamides are formed.
Okay, yeah, we got to tell you about that too. If you think you have not heard enough from us already of new information, have you ever heard of acrylamides? If you have not heard of it, look it up online. It's a known carcinogen that forms when you cook or heat something above 350 degrees.
Yeah, so when you see those grill marks on steak or veggies or whatever, and you eat that, you're actually ingesting acrylamides.
And let me also mention, Denise is showing all this food that we're eating. Look at all the colors. Don't you think there's a reason why humans have colored vision? And do you ever wonder why real carnivores, like animals out in the wild cannot see color? Because they don't eat the fruits and vegetables that are ripe. The only way you know if fruits and vegetables are ripe is if you can see in color, right?
Yeah. Big cats don't need to see in color. They see in monochrome because they just got to see something moving because they do eat other animals.
So the takeaway is we're not carnivores. If we were, we wouldn't see in color. Why would we need that?
Right. So we just went strawberry picking the last couple of days, and we were all excited about getting the deepest, reddest strawberries because those were the ripest and juiciest.
That's right. Yeah. And if I didn't have color vision, I would not really be able to tell which one was riper.
So this is what our day looks like. We share a couple of pineapples for breakfast. Lunch is usually a giant smoothie, a banana for a snack, a huge salad for dinner. And let me see, I ate all those baby cucumbers for a snack too, and those grapes. So we just eat as much as we want. We don't have to calorie count on this.
And sometimes the hardest part, it is a skill. I'll tell you, it's a skill to find the right produce and to find stores that consistently have the produce that is ripe. And I highly recommend organic too, by the way.
Yeah, and that salad is huge. We usually get like a 16-ounce salad. And look at our numbers over here. They look great. I've got over 1,000 calories in this day. Mike usually will eat more than that, but got
way more if I can.
I got 38 grams of fiber and 29 grams of protein, which is plenty. So if you look at the pie chart of what we ate, it's mostly carbs. We're not on the Atkins diet or keto. Okay. Those are horrible for your body.
We need to talk about this. Just like we talked, there's different forms of sodium. There's different forms of fiber. We know certain ones are most beneficial, right? And they are the ones that are in the whole plant form. Same with carbs. You could get some of the most highly processed food out there, and that's a carbohydrate. But that's processed carbs. That's processed food. Everybody will know that processed food is not going to optimize your health, right? Well, whole plant carbs are a completely different type of carbohydrate and are not treated the same way by your body. They actually serve to optimize your health. So don't get them confused. Remember, there are two different types. Just like a lot of the stuff. This is why a lot of people, they try to confuse you, okay, by making it the same word or form of a word have really two different meanings that you're not even aware of. So whole plant carbs, eat them all day long. Processed food, aka processed carbs, that's not going to optimize your health. We all know that.
Right. So on day 2, we had those melons for breakfast, a smoothie for lunch, and then we had for a snack that entire watermelon that Mike is holding over his head. We just threw it in a blender to make a slushie and drank it.
Yeah, we were talking about healthy vegan food, the healthyveganfood.info. And one of the precepts is it's got to have the whole plant fiber. So with the watermelon, it's pretty cool. If you haven't done this, you can make a watermelon smoothie that tastes just like watermelon juice, really. You just cut out that watermelon, you drop it in the blender, you spin it around enough times so that it's just flowing like juice. And all the fiber is still in there, so you get all of it in one package, and it's delicious.
So you don't have to chug water all day long. When we have a watermelon like this, we don't need to even drink any water.
Yeah, let's talk about that too. Now we talked about things have two meanings. Water is another one. All right. Everyone's like, you gotta drink your water. Drink 6 cups of water, whatever. Well, you know what? I wanna give you some breaking news. The water that you're gonna hold in isolation is actually a form of processed food. And as we know, processed food is not optimal for the human body. So if Mike, you're telling me that this water is processed food, well, how am I gonna get my water? Well, you eat the whole plant. The whole plant is consistently high in water. All whole plants, especially certain watery fruits like grapes, watermelon, things like that, pineapple that we eat 2 pineapples a day.
Yeah, they're 80% water.
Yeah, so that water in the plant, even coconut water is another good one, is not processed water. That is nature's water. That is designed to go into your body, into all your cells, and deliver all the nutrition. The processed water that you get in your bottles or the water fountain or whatever, not only is that stripped out of most of the nutrition, it's got to be filtered and strained to get all the, the whatever other gunk out of there. And then they usually add chemicals to it in addition to that. Oh, and if they haven't done any of that, it's probably in a plastic bottle and you're drinking little microplastics along with your water. So either way, you're not doing well with that.
Plastic is an endocrine disruptor.
So the takeaway is Eat your watery fruits. Eat your whole plants. That's where you get your water. Like Denise said, we hardly drink any extra water. We do have a bottle here today because it's going to be warm in the sun and all that. And I'm talking, and it's a quick, easy way to do it. But as a rule, that's an exception. As a rule, we're getting our water from the whole plants.
Yeah. So as Dr. Colin Campbell wrote in the book Whole, you don't want to supplement with vitamins because the plant is designed for you to ingest the vitamins along with the fiber and everything that's all wrapped up in that plant. Same thing goes for water. You don't absorb water well if you're just chugging it from a bottle. It'll go straight through you. You will absorb the water if you get your water from a plant.
Nature's water.
Yeah. So this day, we still got 38 grams of fiber, 33 grams of protein, and 1,100 calories. Mike probably got more, as usual.
I hope I did.
Yeah. So this day, we had, looks like kiwi and melon and banana for breakfast. I still had a chai tea latte with soy milk, so we do have some processed drinks. The usual salad and smoothie. We use chia seeds and flax seeds for our omega-3s. Omega-3s are good for you, but you don't have to eat fish or consume fish oil to get them.
No fish oil. That whole thing's a myth, right?
Yeah, that's not, fish oil isn't even vegan. It's not good for you. It's oil. You should just get your omega-3s from chia seeds.
How much fiber is in fish oil?
0. And I'm sure there are calories in that too. This day I had this whole bag of Rainier cherries. It was cherry season. And I still got 43 grams of fiber. Most were from the cherries, and 32 grams of protein. 1,100 calories.
Plenty of protein, plenty of fiber, plenty of nutrition, everything.
So on day 4, we had some cooked food. So if you can't handle all of the raw produce that you saw on those other slides, you can eat cooked food and still get by.
We do.
We had those huge mixing bowl size bowls of steel cut oats and some maple syrup and some blueberries for breakfast. We make our own soy milk to make the oatmeal creamy. We make the soy milk with about 13 cents worth of organic soybeans. We don't use the packaged milk from the grocery store because that usually has sugar and salt and sometimes oil, seed oil added to it. We keep it simple. You can have a baked potato with a little tahini. We don't consider that added oil. Just some black pepper. And again, here's our salad for lunch with chia seeds and flax seeds. And for dinner, who likes pasta?
Yes, me, all the time.
We have this whole pound of spaghetti pasta. We get the whole wheat kind, so you're getting more fiber. And
organic.
Yeah, and we don't use that sauce from a jar because every jarred spaghetti out there has oil and salt added.
Yeah, let me talk about that for a minute. First of all, the pasta, like Denise said, if you're going to go with the wheat pasta, make sure it's whole wheat. The reason why is if it's not whole wheat, they strip out a lot of that fiber and nutrition, and then it's more like empty calories. It's more like a processed, heavily processed food. I mean, pasta's not natural, but it is as close to natural as you're going to get when you add the water and you make it whole wheat. Other forms of brown rice pasta or other things are also good, but go with the brown, not the white. And the sauce, like Denise said, I love red sauce, okay? But the problem is, even though there's 100 or 200 bottles of red sauce in every grocery store, all of them have added oil and salt. So I got to make my own. So what I do is I go and I find, actually we got a Harris Teeter. There's plenty of Harris Teeters around here. You can get the giant can of crushed tomatoes that are organic and have no added salt. I get one of those. Then I get, this is a hard one to find, tomato paste. A can of tomato paste with as little salt as possible. It's also organic. It's hard to find that one, but you can find it. And then add your spices and put it over heat. Mix it around for 15, 20 minutes, and you're done. Simple as that. And it's delicious. You can eat all you want. I'm telling you, if you eat like we're saying, eat all you want. Don't say, oh, no, I'd be okay if it wasn't for pasta and red sauce. No. Look at me. Because I am not having a problem eating pasta and red sauce.
Yeah, we ate that whole pound of pasta for dinner, and I still only got 1,500 calories that day. And we were fine. No protein deficiency. So there's a myth out there that soy increases breast cancer risk. I heard this from some of my own friends. So if you haven't heard yet, that myth was debunked. Studies show that a lifelong diet rich in soy foods reduces the risk of breast cancer in women. And the protective effect is less dramatic for women who eat less soy who start eating soy later in life, but it's still there. It's protective.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. I know you were looking into this. And a lot of this I kind of see, like, we're older, like we said. I'm 53, Denise is 52. We grew up in the 70s and 80s. I remember when you would walk into every building and every car, and they would be full of smoke, right? Literally, every building was full of smoke. Like back then, you didn't know what was causing what health problem because you were literally covering yourself and inhaling smoke all day long in the 70s and 80s, right? I mean, seriously. You don't have to go back that far. So back then, we couldn't quite figure out what was going on. And that had kind of encouraged a lot of health myths and other things to kind of get started. But now that the smoke has literally been cleared and we can start pinpointing things a little more carefully, we've got to look at things in a new way. And this is one of them here. We got to re-examine some things that we thought were right or wrong, and this is one of them, right?
Yes. So I got my information from the Mayo Clinic. So don't be afraid to get soy milk for your coffee. It actually, if you're going to get coffee at a coffee shop, soy milk will have the least amount of added fat. It has less than almond, way less than oat.
And higher protein too, so it's like the most nutrition bang for your buck. The only thing we could say for a caveat here is to try to get it organic, because most soy, believe it or not, is not grown for humans. It's grown to feed animals for animal products. And those animals, guess what? They're not real particular about whether they're eating organic feed or not.
No,
Okay? So that's one of the reasons why soy has a bad rap, is because most soy is not organic. Most soy is grown for animals. So if you start eating only organic and you eat it and you're replacing other things that are more harmful with soy, then you're going to see some huge positive health benefits.
Yeah. So the reason why that myth came about is because isoflavones, which are found in soy, are plant estrogens, and high estrogen levels with isoflavones are increased to a risk of breast cancer. But food sources like soy don't contain high levels of isoflavones, so they don't increase breast cancer risk. They decrease it.
Right. So let's. You also mentioned isolate, right? Soy isolate. Isoflavones. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
So yeah, that was a rice dish with some soy. It was tofu chopped up. This is tofu too. We make that in the air fryer as well. It's delicious. So there's the pie chart of day 4. Again, it's mostly carbs, but they're whole plant carbs, not the bad kind. Here's what not to eat. Don't eat a whole bag of Oreos just because they're vegan. Look at the calories and stuff.
Well, actually, let's say, Oreos may not be vegan because a lot of processed refined sugars are actually processed with bone char, which is bones from cows. So technically not vegan, believe it or not, if you want to go back that far.
Yeah, but look at the sodium in here. This bag of Oreos has 1,620 milligrams of sodium. That's more than that's more than the daily allotted.
And that's not natural. First of all, there's nothing natural about Oreos. I think we all know that. And yeah, that's added salt. Added. And remember, we talked about that. That's a major problem. That's crushed rocks too. In addition to being high, it's not good for your insides.
Yeah. Same thing with alcohol. A bottle of vodka has 1,600 calories, 400 carbs. Those are the bad carbs.
Yeah, and most of these products too have no fiber in them, I think, as well, right? That's the other issue with those.
Exactly, zero fiber. So this slide has an update. This is what we've been eating recently. Usually it's 2 pineapples for breakfast. We share them. Probably some grapes.
Yellow pineapples. They're hard to find. If you guys have been to the store, you know it's hard to find yellow pineapples, but just go to a lot of stores. That's what I do. And I will leave if there are no yellow pineapples. I will not buy the green ones because I want to have some good tasty fruit.
Yeah. We still have a huge 16-ounce salad for lunch. We found this Cindy's Kitchen mango coconut pepper dressing. It doesn't have any added sodium or oil, so we share that huge salad.
That's hard to find too, believe it or not.
Yeah, dressing is usually a big hang-up of ours because we try to avoid the added oil and salt. So you can make your own too, but we find this one delicious.
We're on the road a lot, so we don't have time to make our own. We don't really cook that much, believe it or not. So that's why we're really got to focus it. It's even hard. It's one thing to say, oh, well, I eat mostly at home. I cook. Okay, that's easy. Try going on the road for a living.
Yeah.
And try eating like that. That's basically what we're doing.
Yeah, we travel 5 months out of the year, and all this stuff fits in our car. So it is doable to travel and eat well. So salad again for lunch with chia seeds and flax seeds. We do stop for coffee or tea. There's some soy chai, and we eat these pretzel twists a lot for a snack because these ones are organic from Whole Foods and there's no added salt.
No added salt, yeah.
And they go well with that Kite Hill tzatziki. It's really low in salt too. So we read a lot of labels, so here are your shortcuts.
Yes, label reading is essential. Number one rule is never believe what they say on the front of the package. Just go straight to the back and read the label.
Yeah, so that was only 1,100 calories, even with all those snacks. So our organization runs Veg Fests. A lot of them are in Southwest Florida. Here's one from Farmer Mike's where we saw Chuck Carroll of PCRM.
Yeah, well, we do all outdoor events is what we do too for festivals. And as you guys know, it's not really that great to have outdoor events here in the wintertime or the summertime. But spring and fall are good, so that's why we have events here every spring and fall now.
Yeah, we had Dr. T. Colin Campbell live on the video wall at that event. He was at our Savannah event recently too.
Yeah, we just drove up from Savannah because it's getting warmer, and I'm finally liking it up here.
Yeah, we got to meet Dr. Michael Greger in Charlotte County Veg Fest. That's in Punta Gorda, Florida.
And Dr. Greger is our younger friend. He just turned 50. You know, I'm 53 and Denise is 52. So anyway, we follow Dr. Greger's advice, and we actually hope to have an event with him. We're working on that right now, which will take place in January. It's going to be a very exclusive retreat type event. It's a very unique event and something that no one's ever done before, so stay tuned for more information on that.
Yeah, you might be able to meet Dr. Greger too. I gave him some samosas and he wasn't happy with me. So
yeah, he said, that looks really fried.
Yeah, with that tone of voice, exactly.
Deep fried.
Deep fried. So if you want to find out where we go and where we go out to dinner and find our coffees and things, you can follow us on our YouTube channel. Just go to plantbasedvideos.info.
Yeah, plantbasedvideos.info is your source for all of our content. We're constantly throwing out content. What I'm doing right now, actually, our talk, this is going on that channel. It's a live video right now, so hey, give me a thumbs up if you're watching. That's on our YouTube channel. It's on a lot of our social media. It's even on Raleigh Community Information and the Triangle Foodies group right now, too.
Yeah, so you can see some of our plants to table dinners that we had on there and some of the travel that we've done recently to Hawaii.
We did one plants to table dinner here in Raleigh. Actually, we're still looking for another farm. If you guys know of a good farm, organic, that we can partner with.
Yeah, let us know.
And this is our, you want to find, you say, okay, you guys, you have all these events. How do I find out about the next one? Well, you go right here, right? Yeah. Plantbasedevents.info in any browser. Plantbasedevents.info. And you'll see the screen. It's got this little blue rectangle at the bottom where you click follow. And when you click follow, you'll get notified every time we release a new event. This is automatic. It's through Eventbrite, so it's not social media. And you will hear directly from them whenever we launch a new event. And that's all you'll hear about when you follow us at plantbasedevents.info.
Yeah, so you won't get many emails from Eventbrite. You'll only get one when we're doing an event. So here are some of the events that we did just recently in the past.
Yeah, and the count, if you go to Eventbrite, you'll see we've got like 3,300 followers, I believe, right now on Eventbrite. And we've done 100 events. 100 events. That's a, I mean, I'll tell you, it's a lot of work to put on an event like this. But as we've discussed earlier, we know this is the future. Everyone's going to benefit. We know that people love to not be ill. Okay? That's the most fun ever is to not be ill. So how do you do that? You got to learn a lot about the food and the plant-based lifestyle. So that's why we do these events.
Yeah. Mike got up at 3 a.m. to set up this video wall for you.
Yeah, that's right. Who set this video wall up? Who did this? Actually, there's the guy who walked up to me after I put it up. He's like, you did that? He's like, who set that up? I was like, I did. He's like, you did that? I was like, how long did that take? Hours? I'm like, maybe an hour. You know, just throw it up as fast as I can.
He doesn't have a whole crew of roadies. I'm his only roadie.
Yeah, well, motivation. I got a good motivation. If I don't get it up, then there's no event. We can't give a talk. Yeah. So I got to hurry up.
Yeah, the wall's pretty important. So we promised to mention intentional communities and eco-villages. We're part of Terra Frutis in South.
Can I give a quick introduction?
Sure.
All right. Well, we've been talking about all these different facets of eating and health optimization that all involve veganism and the plant-based lifestyle. There's all different levels. What if you want to really do the best that you can? What if you want to like make every choice the right choice, which I'll tell you is nearly impossible. because you probably know that almost every choice you can make anywhere is not going to optimize your health. In fact, it's going to do the opposite. How much time are we doing? We got 10 minutes, 11 minutes. What if there was a totally vegan community where you could live among like-minded people in a huge, huge area, like hundreds of acres, okay? And where they grow their own food all year round, and they grow it, and they pick it, and they eat it. You know it's ripe. You know where it's coming from. You know it was growing outdoors in the sun with natural rainfall because it's in the Amazon rainforest too. That's right. I'm talking about Ecuador. We are actually involved in this community, Terra Frutis. You may have never heard about it. It's a 100% vegan community. They grow most of their own food there. Most people are in there for health optimization. They're a totally zero waste community. They don't throw anything away. Everything gets composted. Literally everything gets composted. And they have many volunteers that show up from around the world. They have residents from around the world. We also just finished building a tiny home in this community so that you could take the vacation of a lifetime, an experience that you've never had. I mean, surely, when's the last time you went to a totally vegan community where they're all growing their own food, and there have been people who have been living there for years doing this? You probably never even thought this place existed. So that's why we built this house, and we're going to show you what this house looks like, I think. Actually, in that picture right there, those are the people that live in the community, or some of them. Jonathan's on the left. He's been there since probably 2014. Nicholas is newer. He's second from the left. He's from Greece. He runs his own retreat area called Fruitarian Utopia in Terra Frutis. And then who else do we have? I know Charlotte. Maria. Okay. Maria actually has come back to the United States, I think, for a little bit of time.
Well, no, this is the chef Maria that does all the cooking. I think that's her name.
Yes. Okay.
Paula.
Paula, yeah. And then Charlotte's on the right. She's been there for the entire time. Actually, Cedric's not in that picture, is he?
No.
He's not in there. Okay. Anyway, those are the people that we know that have been there in this community. We do believe this is part of the future. This is a new paradigm of living, a new paradigm of health that you didn't even know existed or was even possible, probably.
Yeah. So what's really different about the intentional communities, a lot of the people that we've met here had regular jobs. They went to college, got their 4-year degree, got a job like as an engineer, and found out they hated it. And they saved up their money, bought some property, and moved here.
Well, it's more that they weren't. Hate is a weird word. I guess maybe they did, but they also realized, like, am I really making a difference? Am I really contributing to society, or am I just trying to line some giant corporation's pockets with cash?
Yeah,
okay, because if you don't feel like you're really contributing or doing something, you're going to want to look for something else, right? And this is what they found. They finally found it, and you guys should look into this too. I highly recommend it.
So it's super cheap to live here. You can get dual citizenship as long as you have an income of like $900 a month, which isn't hard to do if you can work online.
I think they have free healthcare too, right? They just want to make sure you're not going to be a deadbeat and show up and be a drain on their economy, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Some people had to go to the hospital there and got treated.
All right, that's our house. This is the house we built. We spent 2 years building this. Most of the wood that was used was actually on the property. They had to dry it for over a year. And it's all exotic hardwoods. There's no pine there. This is in the Amazon rainforest. This house is called La Casa Más Alta because it's the highest house in the Terra Frutis community. The Terra Frutis community includes Mount Terra Frutis. It's about 350 acres in size. It's the one we just told you about. So that's us next to the house. It's got 2 bedrooms on the top. It's got a balcony. We designed it like after a French ski chalet, all kind of. The bottom is, on the left is the full kitchen with granite and stainless steel. On the right is a full bathroom with a toilet closet, dual sinks, and a walk-in full tiled shower. The floors down there are like a stained concrete with some kind of special treatment, and the floors upstairs are native exotic hardwoods.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's
and
very luxurious.
What's the air conditioning bill like there, Denise?
We don't have one. Believe it or not, this climate in Ecuador doesn't require any heating or cooling.
Yeah,
so your skin doesn't dry out. It just feels moist all the time.
Yeah, so this is one of the reasons why these people chose to settle in this area is because of the mild climate. You don't need climate control. Let me repeat that. You have a house where you don't need it and you don't want it. It is possible, but you have to search for these areas. So that's a huge financial load. It's a huge amount of things that aren't going to break, and they aren't going to cost you money on a monthly basis.
Yeah. So we have these rooms are just screened in so the air can flow, and when we go to sleep at night, all we hear are the birds and crickets.
So go to lacasamasalta.org, lacasamasalta.org. That is you'll find it, the listing on Airbnb, and you'll find out that it costs like $35 a night Okay, even less on a monthly basis to rent this thing. It's that inexpensive. It'll be the least expensive vacation you've ever taken in your life, and like none other.
Yeah, and there's even a hot tub in the community center, so it's luxurious
and you get to meet friendly, like-minded people there too, which you don't always meet when you're on vacation.
Yeah,
especially if you're trying to do plant-based.
Yeah, you'll meet great people, great folks. So there's another eco village not far from Terra Frutas called Fruit Haven.
Yes, that's across the river. It's the same area of Ecuador. It's southeast Ecuador in the Amazon rainforest. We're not talking about other parts of Ecuador. It's the southeast. It's very hard to get to. It's on the Andes Mountains between 2,500 and 3,000 feet above sea level. Fruit Haven is, I said Terra Frutas is 350 acres. Fruit Haven is somewhere between 500 and 1,000 acres in size. It's much bigger. There's a map of Fruit Haven. That little area, see like in the lower right corner, it says FH9. It's outlined in blue. We actually own that property. It's 72 acres, I believe. So you can see how big Fruit Haven is. It's a huge, huge property of adjoining parcels. And we have lots for sale, by the way, because we built that house. The house we showed you cost about $45,000 to build. Let me repeat. The entire house cost $45,000 to build, okay? We have land for sale in this Fruit Haven 9 community. Also, 100% vegan community of like-minded individuals. And you can buy a lot over an acre, 1.25 acres, I believe, for $3,400. Did you hear me? I'm in real estate. I'm a realtor here in North Carolina. We can sell you a lot for $3,400 in an area where you don't need climate control, and you can grow all your own food all year round, and you can optimize your health.
Yeah, you can't find that around here.
This is, like we said, a new paradigm of living. I'm in real estate. Real estate, to me, most of it's the same. It's just a different location and a different price tag depending upon how close you are in. But this is a totally different paradigm. This is the way it should be, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, yeah,
there it is.
Fruit Haven 71 acres or 29 hectares, and it's up on the top of a mountain that has this awesome view of the other mountains, and you can see the Rio Zamora River. You can build any kind of house you want on it. There's not zoning or permitting to get involved in. You can design it and get creative and just be happy.
This is another nonprofit we have. A lot of the concepts we talked about, like I said, we don't practice medicine. We're not doctors. However, I'm a lifestyle nutritionist. We have another nonprofit called lifestylemedicine.love. Lifestyle medicine is a new branch of medicine that actually works within the system to address the root cause of issues and address this from a lifestyle factor, which is mainly the food and your habits. Lifestylemedicine.love is actually a website. It goes to our other website right now, but LOVE stands for Local Organic Vegan Eating. That's what LOVE stands for as well.
We have 3 minutes till our next
I'm
speaker
trying to hurry.
Yeah, that's lifestylemedicine.love.
Okay, that's me. I am Mike, and guess what? I'm a lifestyle nutritionist. That's why I've been talking about food this whole time, because 80% of people's issues with their health revolve around food, believe it or not, and simple choices and habits that you can change. And I run a nutrition coaching business. I'll talk to you for free if you want. So come find me, contact me. ForeverYoungNutritionCoaching.com is the website. You can go to that. And it's extremely affordable after that, just like the housing we told you about. Everything, when you do it right, is so inexpensive. It's amazing. All right, this is my book I was telling you about. I'm 53. And as you guys know, probably the average lifespan is about 75 years young. 75. So that means I'm getting to be almost dead, according to the statistics, right?
Right.
I don't feel that way, but guess what? I'm not doing things the way that everyone else is doing them for the most part, and I'm not doing things the way I was told growing up in the 70s and 80s. If you learn the right habits, you can and should be able to, I would say, double your lifespan. I'm not kidding you. It just depends on how deep of a dive you want to take into what you are willing to change about your own habits, and you're willing to learn. So this book is the entire resource. This book is the manual for life that I developed over the last few years, and I recently released it, and it's available for free. It's a resource through our nonprofit. Go to liveto150.org. That's live250.org. It's a playlist. It has 152 videos on it. 2 are introductory, and 150 are chapters. Chapter 42, I'll tell you, is the Cliff Notes. Chapter 40, do people even know what Cliff Notes is? I don't even know. That's how old I am. We played with cassettes and records, too, back in our day. People even know what those are. But that's how old I am, or young, 53 years young. So Anyway, this book's for free on our YouTube channel. Watch it anytime, listen to it in your car. And chapter 42 is about the food. That is 80% of your results, the food. And I'm not talking about just giving up animal products, which is incredibly important. I'm talking about a hyper-specific way of doing this, and everything has a reason and purpose behind it, and that is why this book is a very long life manual, I would call it.
Yeah, so you can put your earbuds in and go for a walk and skip over any chapters that aren't relevant to you and enjoy listening to it. So we have merch. I have a water bottle. A lot of people come up and ask if we have t-shirts for sale. Mike is wearing one of the long sleeve shirts. We don't have them at our info. We don't sell them at our info tent, but you can order them online. Yeah, just go to plantbaseddiet.org, look for merch.
There's our local group I was telling you about earlier. We got like between 3,000 and 4,000 people. Vegantriangle.org. Go ahead and sign up. Everything about no animal products in the triangle. And then this one is the one dealing with health optimization exclusively. As we talked about, they're not the same thing, at least not necessarily the same thing. So go to trianglelifestyle.org if you want to focus on health optimizing things happening in the triangle, trianglelifestyle.org. It's a group of, I think, like 700 people right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so get together with the other people who are like-minded. Have a potluck.
Yes, and here is our Instagram, plantbasedevents.info, just like our calendar. Is also our Instagram.
Yep, and there's our email if you have any questions, or if you just want to join our mailing list, put events in the subject line and we'll get you on our mailing list.
I think we got everything in. It's 11:01. Good timing.
Awesome. So I'll just need my phone so I can announce the next presenter.